Hello everyone, welcome back to the PUBG Mobile World League West Season 0 weekly recap show. I'm Jason Kaplan. I'll be covering all the action that went down over this last week from the league play into the Super Weekend. Let's start things off by taking a look at the league play off the bat here so you can see what 16 teams did make it through into our second Super Weekend. And of course, like always, Cloud9 just seemed to reign supreme as they took themselves the first place and 2 chicken dinners on top of this. I think one of the biggest stories though, as we can see here, it's mostly Loops Esports having a real struggle across the entirety of those 2 days of play. We had Kanina Power start to show up a little bit as well, and Pittsburgh Knights seem to be getting better and better as the days had gone on. But taking a look at the second page, this is what it's all about, right? It's about the 16 teams who made it through into the Super Weekend. You can see here, SWAT 69, they've been able to get themselves through into 16th place, beating out Frag Machines and beating out UDR Killers, even with the 3-way tie done. One thing I do want to mention, though, is if UDR Killers got themselves one more point, they would have qualified through. They would have tied things up at 47. There would have been a 4-way tie. But because they have 21 kills, they would have qualified over SWAT 69 and would have had a chance to continue building up progression go into the second Super Weekend. That's what it's all about, right? Getting those points accumulated so you can make it through into our league finals. And let's see how the rankings have shaped up actually after our second week of the Super Weekend has concluded. And like I said before, Cloud9 still maintaining that #1 position. However, Loops Esports are hot in their heels in pursuit of that #1 overall ranking. You can see how many kills they have, 190. And it was a constant battle between the two teams of who can maintain that #1 position. You had Pittsburgh Knights there. They were getting better and better and better throughout the entire week this week. Unfortunately, though, due to Sixless now being taken out of the team, they have to now play with a different player on their team that they had as a substitute. So we'll see if they can continue to progress and be a better team as we get into week 3. Tempo Storm playing pretty consistent here, as we can see. 6th place, slowly climbing up the leaderboards, got themselves 3 chicken dinners. But speaking on the note of chicken dinners, B4 Esports, the only team in the top 8 rankings currently with 0. They have 106 kills, 169 points, and they are proving to be a team that is very tough to deal with. However, we need to see them start to close the gap here and get those chicken dinners done if they want to climb up the rankings like Loops did after getting 0 previously in the first week. But now looking at the second page, again, my eyes are always going to turn towards that 16th position to see if SWAT 69 was able to overtake the team who did not play this week, and they fell short by 34 points. And this leads me to wonder now, going into our next week of league play, can SWAT 69 re-qualify and potentially re-qualify over UDR Killers? Likewise for UDR Killers, if they can qualify and SWAT 69 doesn't, then they're going to be safe through into our league finals. But we had Konina Power start to step up. They got themselves a chicken dinner and started to get some kills going. Nova Esports as well, with the recent change-up of having Cat on the roster. They're able to get themselves 2 chicken dinners in a day, and they definitely have started to improve as a team after we talked to G-Fan on the show during an interview with them after our 3rd game. But let's take a look, though, a little bit further into our #1 team from the weekend, Cloud9. Let's take a look at their stats and see what they're really ramping up to. Almost 60,000 damage being done so far. We're only receiving 48,000, so really trying to output more than they can take and maintaining a pretty equal ratio between kills and knockouts as well, making sure that when they get those downs, they get those confirms. And honestly, Beowulf and Adder have been playing out of their minds this entire time. I even talked to Beowulf in an interview. He said that this team seems to be the best they have. They feel like they're the best in the West League, and I'm curious if they can maintain that, though, going into league play. Let's look at our top 10 players now to see which teams or which players in particular were the ones to really shine greatly by kills over these last few weeks. And we can see we got Tensa there, from Tempo Storm. Again, a team we haven't really talked about too much, but have definitely been improving and sneaking in wins here or there. You got Raum from Footballers as #6, Spec as well, another Tempo Storm player. A lot of Footballers players actually make it into the top 10 with 3 in total. Even Beowulf going to be coming through in 9th place. And Azor for Wildcard, who started to finally have a couple of good games like we saw in the opening weekend, able to pick up the kills that they desperately needed and even getting really close to getting themselves those chicken dinners. But what I am going to be focused on, though, is the top 4 players. You got Carrillo in there, you got Adder in there, you got Dadine in there, you got Solkay in there. And we need to take a closer look at these 4 in particular because they were the ones to stand out the most. Carrillo taking himself 104 kills, the only player in the West League to break 100 kills. And funny enough, he has more kills in alone then we have teams in total having points. Remember, that's 104 points he's going to be giving his team. And you look at what some of the teams have right now in the Super Weekend, and they're definitely struggling. But you got added in there the recent pickup. Well, I say recent, was obviously before PMPL Americas with 97 kills. The Dean going to be helping support Korea with his 88. And then Soka at the end with 79, who did have a little bit of a quiet weekend, I have to say, within the Super Weekend, but still performing well for Futbolists and still trying to maintain that top 4 position. If they can continue to do so when we do round things out coming into our third and final week of the Super Weekend, where we'll finally allocate the money, $50,000 for first place, if they can come out on top. But now it's time to take a look at our MVP, though, of the entire weekend, and it's going to be, yet again, Carrillo. 2 weeks in a row with his 19 minutes and 42 seconds of average survival time and his 31 kills in total and 4,800 damage. This man, it doesn't matter if his team is performing well. It doesn't matter if his team is performing well. He always seems to be having this consistent play of getting frags and being one of the most dominating names when it comes to the server. A lot of teams are really focused on Loop Esports and really trying to prevent themselves from fighting against them. The one thing about Loops is you can't run away, you can't hide. They're going to come for you, and they're going to look for 4 more points to add towards their leaderboard. Now, I know you guys at home might be busy with some other things. If you missed out on all the action that did take place in this last week, you're lucky. We got you covered this week. Don't let it happen again coming into week 3. Here's some highlights from our favorite moments of week 2.